Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 6, Episode 9. It is called Collision Course Part 2. So full spoilers for the episode as always, and worth also mentioning that these S.h.i.e.L.D. reviews are sponsored by one of our patrons. Tim Neal is sponsoring this, so thank you to him. So, we left off in a cliffhanger last week where the truck with the bomb was going straight into the Dark Tower, or whatever we're calling the big structure. The not Fortress of Solitude, and that's exactly where we left off. We just cut to black, and boom, there we were. So we pick up there, and the gang on the truck are trying to figure out what to do with it. Deke's trying to defuse it, and there's a point where Sky tries to give him a pep talk and tries to motivate his ego and be like, hey, if there's one person who can do this, but she doesn't get to finish her sentence. And he's like, yeah, Deke Shaw, yeah, Deke Shaw can do it. He says his name in the third person.
Yeah.
As you do. But he's all in on, for some reason, him and Snowflake, they literally just started making out last episode, and every time they thought they were dying this episode, they were holding hands, and he was holding her, and it was, I'm like, you've kissed, twice.
Look, on Deke's behalf, I'm sure love was hard to come by in the terrible future that he was from.
Oh yeah, because it's easy to come by now.
I mean, probably easier.
Sure, easier. So, and we get a lot more laughs with Sky and May being disgusted. I don't know which one has worse taste, and May looks at her and goes, she is a serial killer. Which clearly means that Deke has worse taste. You have to go to the other side.
Theoretically,
yes. But I love the idea that Sky, I don't know, I'm not convinced. Deke might actually be a worse partner than a serial killer. That's actually a harder way to break down and talk about, because so much of it is just
picking up last time.
We said this about the first half, is that first halves of two-parters are difficult because there's no conclusions and it's all set up. The second half is got a similar problem on the other side where it's all conclusions and no setup. So we kind of just have to...
We often, if the opportunity is available to us, we often do two-parters just as one thing.
Yeah, but we're going through old shows, and it's something we might do with something like Star Trek or something like that. That said, I know a lot of Star Trek seasons end in a cliffhanger, and it's
that's different though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think they're even called Part 1 and 2, but they're spread across.
Yeah, I think
seasons.
It's a bit different when it's the end of the season though, because that one is okay, there's going to be a 3 or 4 month gap after that, so it's always written with that in mind. Whereas a week's gap is a lot shorter.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'll just continue talking about Deke rather than worrying about going through things in order. After everything happens, they're all happy they survived. Deke and Snowflake, Snowflake's angry at Sarge, who they've got in custody by the end of the episode, and Deke's like, "Hey, don't worry, take him away, boys." But that really made me laugh. The "take him away, boys" actually really cracked me up.
Yeah.
When they're already taking him away, he's just shouting out a generic line
just because he can.
He's like, "Don't worry, Snow Bunny, he's in containment, and we're together now." And then Sky comes up to the, "Hey, Deke, why is she not in containment?" "What do you mean? Why would she be? She's a serial killer."
But she helped us. She's on our side now.
I knew where he was going. It didn't even take him long. It was literally 2 seconds, and he's like, "I know what this is really about." And I'm like, "Oh, Deke, don't, Deke."
I know.
It's the age-old story. Girl develops feelings and doesn't act on them because she's too scared. So,
but his version is obviously extremely specific about things that are like guy from the future.
he leaves and starts up a tech company, and then that feeling turns into regret. And she just pauses for a second, and goes, "Nope, definitely a serial killer thing." I do love the idea that deep down there's a hint of jealousy. She doesn't know it yet and she can't explain it, but deep down there's a hint of something that she's going to hate. That she's going to be ashamed of herself when she realizes it. It's there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's there. God damn it! I need this, and I need her making fun of that he's ex Snowflake, because that'll also be hilarious. But I'm all for Snowflake sticking around as Deke's girlfriend.
Also would be equally delightful.
Yes, all delightful. All of this is good. So they're on the thing, and they actually crash into the thingy, and they're bracing themselves for death. They think they're gone for it. They don't know what they're doing, and Sky at the last second is like, "I'm going to try something," and I kind of guessed what it was, and it's sort of thing where I get why it never occurred to her right before now, because she's never done anything like this before with her powers. But,
never really had to.
Yeah, but they crash out of the thing, it all comes crumbling down, turns to Shrike, and it's just swarms of Shrike flying about. But we cut back in, and everyone else sort of like looks up after they've dived, and like May and Deke and whatever, and they look over, and Sky is just like quaking the bomb from both sides to sort of essentially create a little force field where it's stable in the middle,
kind of containing it in.
She basically created like a stabilizer for it so that it wouldn't feel the blast or the impact. And I'm like, you know what? This makes sense. I'm into this. This was a smart way out of this. Of course, they're trapped in a new situation now where there's an army of Shrike flying around.
There is, but she's got that covered too.
It turns out she does. She eventually gets an idea to quake them and shake them until they vaporize.
Yeah. I love when they open the door. Deke's like, "What the hell are you doing?" and May's like, "She's fine. Choke point. She's got this."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, even if we're using the blades, the choke point still makes sense. Like, having one location you can focus on rather than having them, come in. Which, by the way, also the one before that flew straight for Deke's head.
As he's screaming and he's going towards his mouth, and May just stabs it.
Yeah, he just puts her hand out and stabs it right in front of his face, and he's like, oh.
She's like, "You're welcome."
He's speechless. He's goddamn speechless. So that's all delightful. And by the way, May might give the best smile she's ever given in this episode. There's a reunion moment with Fitz and Simmons towards the end. And obviously I expect Sky to smile because she's Sky, but May gives this like genuine grin, this warm smile.
It's so rare.
It was uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. I'm uncomfortable by this.
I can see why.
Yeah, and Fitz and Simmons are on the big ship, of course. Try to get the comms working, which he eventually does later on, but not until after they realise that all the crew have been turned into Shrike zombies. And Azel's like, because actually one of the comments I think last week were saying, why wouldn't she just do this to Fitz and Simmons at this point too? And it never occurred to me last week to
she needs them.
Question it too much. But this episode actually did a good job of like explaining why she didn't just do that yet, because she quanders maybe just doing it eventually, because she's like, well, you two may not be as useful as I thought you were, but so on and so on. And I like that Fitz and Simmons are pretty capable. Like, once they realise they're in danger, they grab the guns from the two guards pretty quickly and just make their play for it. Which did lead to my "you smell nice" in the wall, which I thought was entertaining.
Yeah. No, these two are a blast together again. Not a super amount of them this episode, really, compared to given that they had some big moments over the last few episodes. This is kind of just okay. Let's get them back now and just kind of wrap up this bit of the story. They do have some nice moments with s.h.i.e.l.d. though.
Yeah, a couple of nice moments with her. Obviously, I like the moments later on when they reunite with people, which we'll get to, I think, through going to the Zephyr, where Sarge is there, of course. He went there in the last episode, and they take over the bridge. And they actually, like, as soon as he's like, hey, we're going to do this, both of them are like, hey, yo, this quick one. Like, she can beat us. Like, we can't really do much against her. But they've got a plan for that. They've got this laser barrier thingamajig.
Yeah, at first I thought they were kind of like trip mines, but it seems to be like it would become more like a force field. Force
field that's deadly to the touch, as we hear from Pax, who does later on get his face shoved in it, and he's all burned.
Yeah, it does look painful. Not jealous of him.
No. He dies quite quickly afterwards, admittedly, but still. Because Sarge just shoots him, because, no one gets in the way, including his own team. Because basically, Jacko, over the course of the episode, he starts to doubt Sarge. He's upset at first when he hears that Snowflake had to be left behind. And then when the bomb doesn't go off, and Max, like, handcuffed, he points out, hey, like, Snowflake's down there as well. It's not just our people. And, like, Jacko's like, he gives him this look, and he's like, yeah, boss, that sounds like a good idea. Let's get Snowflake back. And he's like, no one slows us down. And it's like, for all their loyalty, it seems that, when push comes to shove, Sarge is more determined with the mission than he is even concerning himself with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we establish in this episode, it's very clearly personal between him and s.h.i.e.l.d.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because when Fitz gets the comms working, and which, by the way, another laugh I had, is that like is the signal for distress changed in the last year? And he's like, oh, thankfully no. And she's like, this is Agent Simmons, 4122 or whatever the number was.
It was like
And
226.
Whatever, 226.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? It could be any number. And he's like, and it's Davis who's flying the Zephyr, and he's like, yes, this is Agent Davis, 226. And I'm like, they're both trying to use it with each other.
Yeah.
Because Simmons is like, you've got your call sign there confused, Agent Davis. Wait, I'm 226. He's like, no. I'm 226.
226. And then you just see Sarge with the gun to his head.
And Fitz and Simmons just look at each other like, shit.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But between Sarge and s.h.i.e.l.d, there's obviously a rivalry. It's probably putting it lightly.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting details through this. Is that she knows he doesn't remember who he is, what his real name is, and who he really is. And because she says, "Oh, you finally remembered my name," as if for a while he couldn't, and he now does.
And he seems to think she took his memories.
Yeah, he thinks that she killed his family and then took his memories of his family. But she then says that, no, your memories never existed to begin with.
Which maybe lends credence to more of a clone than a resurrection.
Yeah. Although he had to have been cloned a while ago. Obviously all the memories are fake, so he doesn't have to exist during that period. But I'm thinking, he's been with them for at least a year, because Jacko says Snowflake's been with us for years or whatever at one point.
Yeah, assuming there's no time travel involved.
Sure, yeah, assuming there's no time travel. But assuming that, he says she's been with us for years, which implies that they've been together before Snowflake for at least a while before that as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and there was the comment to May about like 100 years.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if he's literally had 100 years of experiences before these memories, or after these memories were taken, rather, then yeah, so he's been around for a while.
Yeah. See, it's that sort of comment where normally we'd theorize, like LMD, but they've already established no, the DNA is the same.
Yeah.
They'd probably be able to, they know enough about LMDs to be able to tell. You'd think.
Yeah. They're definitely sure of that. Because that was one of the first things they considered. And Benson kind of ruled it out. So, unless the LMDs have gotten even more advanced,
It's not impossible, but it would feel like a bit of a cheap fake out, I think.
Yeah. So this was a very enlightening conversation. It makes it very personal. It makes it very clear he's just headstrong to do this. And even when they because we actually get a really good fight scene here between Mac and Sarge. Mac gets out of his, because he was kind of gloating before. He's like, I've got a funny feeling by the end of the day I'm going to have my plane back, and he gets his told you to mirror last episode at the end of the fight. But it's actually a pretty long fist fight of them like throwing each other over the computers and just punching and blocking and whatever. And
it's pretty visceral.
It's pretty visceral, and I like that Mac is essentially won it like 5 punches before the end, and he tells him to stand down. Like, we're done. Like, there's no need to keep fighting. I've clearly won this fight. And Sarge just doesn't
can't accept it. Which goes to show, he keeps losing to s.h.i.e.l.d. planet after planet, but he's still fighting. So that doesn't surprise me. Yeah,
it's true to his character so far that he's like this. So Jacko, he's after Pax is killed, Sarge sends Jacko to get Yo-Yo, who's kind of playing it kind of fast and loose. I actually really liked this stuff as well, where she kept kind of like sneaking it, speeding in, taking their guns away, and then speeding in, handcuffing them. It's like, you're screwed. Like, I mean, obviously Jacko just breaks him because he's a big guy, but
and she has to talk him down.
But she does. She reminds him, "Hey, you're a baker. Like, is killing all these people something that like your family would have wanted? You're the run of the litter," as they put it. Like, and it's actually kind of nice seeing him work with them, and it was nice having Jacko on the side, because it's like, okay, can we get over to that ship? And it's like, okay, we can take one of the Quinjets, we can get over there, and like they know Fitz and Simmons are there, and that's kind of their main goal, is to rescue. Obviously, Jacko does want to try and take down s.h.i.e.l.d. if he can.
Understandable.
Yeah. So actually another big laugh here is when they first get on the ship. It's Mac, Yo-Yo, Davis, and Jacko, and Mac gives this speech about no killing anyone until we can assess the status of the crew and blah blah blah. They turn a corner, and that's a couple of times I've done that in the last couple of days where I've missed the R. Corner. It's on the corner, and there's this crew member there, and Jacko without hesitation just shoots him in the chest, and Mac's like, "What did I just say?" And then the guy just sits back up, and Mac's like, "You know what? Good call. Good call. Good call.
Yeah. Jack has a great addition. So I like the moment where after Yo-Yo convinces him, and they come in on the fight, and it's him that's like, "Hey, Sarge, it's over. Just give it up."
Yeah.
And that's the moment that Sarge does kind of eventually call it. Is when he's lost his own team now.
Yeah. They knock him out, but yeah. So yeah, because how him and Davis try and go to s.h.i.e.l.d. Whereas Mac and Yo-Yo find Fitz and Simmons. And what I like about it is that it does that hero moment where, Fitz and Simmons are like pinned against the wall, the two bad guys are going to get them, and you just hear a whoosh and like their weapons are gone, and then you hear another whoosh and they're over, handcuffed to the railing or whatever. It's a really neat moment. And of course, it's just happy to see Mac and Fitz, the hug, like Fitz in the air.
He's like, "Hey, Turbo, it's cool to see you."
And he's just dangling them from his big giant tree trunk arms.
Which is great, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't compare to Deke's reaction.
Oh, that's when they get back into the truck.
But it's still the best reaction.
Well, no, because I want to talk about this because I love because basically they take over the Zephyr, so they can't go back out that way, and they're like, "Is there another way we can get back down to Earth?" And Jack was like, "I think there is." And they go into the elevator, and I thought it was the airlift, that Fitz had used before to kill the crew members, and I thought, oh, maybe Fitz is going to use that again. And Jackal puts his jacket up, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's still got the circle in his jacket, and I'm like, is that still linked to the one that's on top of the truck? And it's a really neat thing where they've remembered that, and they've used that quite well in the writing, where obviously that's where they end up, because they've defeated the Shrike by this point in the truck, so they hear some footsteps on the roof because that's where the circle was. And then they come in and it's this big reunion moment. I really like this little, they established this circle teleporting device so well this season that this just felt like, of course this is how they get out.
Yeah, why not? We've seen it repeatedly.
And, Jack was on the team now, so he takes his device with him, admittedly, when he draws the new one to go back, because Jack will commit suicide, taking the nuke back to the big ship, thinking that he's going to kill it as L. I don't think he has. I think she probably got off the ship before.
Almost certainly, because otherwise, what the hell's the rest of the season?
Yeah, well, there is the post-credit scene, which is very bizarre compared to the rest of the episode, which we'll get to. But I feel like Azelle has to still be alive because we got 4 episodes left. Has to be something going on. Even though a lot of this episode did feel like a finale in a lot of ways, there was a lot of celebrating afterwards that felt very.
There was, yeah.
Final like, but we get the big reunion. They come in the truck. And it's like they're so happy to see Fitz and Simmons. Deeks charges past both of them though, both Sky and May, to hug Fitz. And he's like, "Oh, I can't believe it's really you! I can't believe it's really you, Bobo!" And Fitz is like, "Who are you? What's going on?"
And he's like, "Oh man, I really thought you were dead for like 5 minutes there."
And he's annoying them because when they're celebrating later back at the base, and he's trying to play darts, he keeps getting in the way of the dartboard. He won't shut up. And then
he wants to go and buy them a castle in Scotland. Castle.
Yes, he wants to buy a castle in Scotland. He's apparently that rich. He wants to learn about his heritage. And Fitz is just dumbfounded. He doesn't know what to say. He's lost. He's lost.
I can relate.
It's Simmons just sitting there with this grin on her face.
Yeah. She's like, yep.
Oh, dear.
It's fun when I'm not going through it as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of resolution stuff because everyone's together for the first time. Mac and Yo-Yo have a heart-to-heart where he kind of like fesses up that he regrets, breaking up for the job.
And then she doesn't let him leave.
Doesn't let him leave. Again, not a nice little use of her power in a playful way that's different from the rest.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I mean, I think in real time it's been like 3 days since her boyfriend died. Maybe it's, moving on a bit quick in terms of logic, but.
I feel like it's been a bit longer than that, but I could be wrong.
It's been maybe a week.
Maybe you're right.
Because I feel like the timeline's been moving. It's not been moving like 1 week per episode. It's been a lot quicker than that, or drawn out than that.
Yeah, it still feels like a couple of weeks at least. Like when Benson was doing research, it doesn't feel like he was. He went away and did research. All that stuff that he came up with. With s.h.i.e.l.d. and the Ink. He didn't just come up with that overnight. That's hefty research.
Okay, I'll give you a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like since the start of the season, a month tops.
Month tops since the start of the season, but that wasn't the start of the season. Obviously, that was like
no, it wasn't
4 or 5 or whatever it was. I'm going to say no more than a couple of weeks since her boyfriend was killed, and she was really upset about that. And obviously she's got a connection with Mac already anyway, so it's not like a fresh thing she's starting. But it occurred in my head when I started kissing. I'm like,
to be fair, it might be like that might be a thing that comes up, that this is kind of her grieving process. Is she's not actually dealing with it.
Oh, it's her admitting that he was the rebound guy all along, and Mac was always the
Yeah, but it could be a bit either or.
Yeah. So yeah, all these little pieces here at the end were really nice, and they all salute Jacko, which is nice because he goes out a hero. So it's interesting that we only have Snowflake and Sarge left of the four, and
yeah,
very interesting.
Both locked up.
But,
they go right. Okay, we're not letting them go free.
However, Deke did bring Snowflake a 55-inch TV to comfort her in her cell.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's never seen a TV before. She's kind of confused. She's like, seems nice.
I can't wait for just to see her just watching like a nature documentary about butterflies.
Oh, actually,
and she'll be like, "Oh, it's Jacko."
Yeah, no, I wanted to mention that line. See when he goes through the portal and he's like, "It's okay, Snowflake. I'm going to be a butterfly." I was like, you know what? I'm impressed with this show usually for how much it makes me care about characters, but these are characters who are relatively new. They've kind of been villains most of the season. Yeah. But that line worked. It was like, I care about Jacko sacrificing himself, and I don't necessarily think that he should have stuck around after. I liked him well enough, but this feels like a nice natural endpoint to his story, and it feels right.
If he had stuck around, I'd have been happy with that. But this works too.
Yeah. So really, really well done. So yeah, everyone's all happy, and then the scene at the end, because I was waiting for the reveal that s.h.i.e.l.d. was still alive, because I was expecting that kind of like dun 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 moment at the end to set up the last 4 episodes, and instead we have May barging into Sarge's room, his cell. And she doesn't say anything. He cracks a couple of quips about her not talking much. And then she just pulls out a gun and shoots him repeatedly. I mean, the final shot is like the POV shot of his face, from his face, with the gun point blank and the headshot. And it begs a bunch of questions here. Like, if this is still May and she's in complete control, what's made her do this? If she's not in complete control, are they telling us that a s.h.i.e.l.d. got to her?
Yeah, can s.h.i.e.l.d. change her form? I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about that.
No. Alternative is this in the framework, and it's just like a way of getting information out of him?
Oh, that might feel a bit cheap if that's what this is, because this felt a bit. Because I think the point of this scene was what the hell is this like happening? Like this feels, Yeah. Obviously, there's the line before this that sets it up where May says, "I should have just shot him the second I saw him." I wanted to believe it was Coulson and it wasn't. Like, obviously that's there to kind of like make you think this maybe is just her, but something feels fishy here.
It does feel fishy
with this, the way she doesn't talk, the way she just like, because sure, May will take people out, but she's not just a cold-blooded killer.
You never when they're in custody.
No, she's not.
I can't remember a single instance that someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always been, she'll never hesitate in the field.
Yeah. Hesitating when someone's pointing a gun at you is very different from this. This is, or not hesitating. I mean.
She's trained. When she's in the field and there's a threat, she has no hesitation. She'll drop them, whatever. This here though, like, just okay. He's dealt with. He's in a cell. He's not a threat anymore. That's very un-May like.
Yeah. So, we'll see this, and I'm sure it's going to connect to s.h.i.e.l.d. For the last 4 episodes. I have to imagine it does. It'd be so. I mean, obviously they've done pods in the past, but it'd be so weird to get a 9-episode arc and then like a 4-episode arc that's just on its own at the end here.
Yeah, it feels like we didn't really answer anything with s.h.i.e.l.d. because she was only introduced.
Yeah.
Like, really last episode. You had the one scene with Fitz and Simmons the episode before that,
which is not a complaint because like I say, we're pretty sure we're seeing her for these 4 episodes.
No, I think it would be a complaint if she doesn't show. If this is genuinely the end of this story. Then it's a complaint, but it's not.
Here's a question: what if this is the end of her this season, but she's back next season? Kind of like how the monoliths have been set up for seasons and seasons.
I think I would need at least tease
at the
or
end of
just something to confirm that she's still alive. Otherwise, if we got to the end of the season and this was it, I'd be disappointed.
Well, I could see the tease being the final post credit at the end of the finale. If that's what they were doing, I could see that being that no, S.h.i.e.l.d. is here. She's on Earth, and come back next year.
I'm fine with that if that's the case. If we're going into the next season and S.h.i.e.l.d.'s still around, that's fine as long as we know about it going into that. I think if we finish this season and they never mention S.h.i.e.l.d. again, like show her or indicate that she's still around, and pretend this is the end of it, and then she shows up next season, I'd be disappointed by this decision here, I think.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Naturally, it was a very solid episode. Very few things to really complain about. Maybe the CG of the tower coming down was maybe one of the first iffy ones that I felt, just because it's such a big thing.
Yeah, it's probably the worst the CG's been in this season, but
yeah, because I still think the ships look great. Like when they were docking with the Fitz and Simmons ship.
The S.h.i.e.l.d. looked pretty good.
Yeah. Helps that they're really fast though, so you don't have to.
No, it does. Yeah. But even when it it stops and you're stabbing them and you're focusing on them, they still look decent.
Yeah. As always, good score by Bear McCreary. Always impressed with his work.
Without fail.
Without fail, yeah. So there you go. That's episode 9 of the season. Like I say, I'm interested by the feeling of finality in this episode, because it really genuinely went for it up until that last scene.
It did, and it's like if this was a 10-episode season, you'd go, okay, there's just the epilogue left.
Yeah.
But no, I say we got 4 episodes still, so it's a interesting choice to have that feeling here.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do. But that is Collision Course Part 2. So, as always, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do support us on Patreon if you want, at patreon.com/mailedfuzztv, which is important because it helps keep the shows coming, and you can support us for as little as $1 per month, and for that dollar you get bonuses and some stuff early, and a bunch of other things, and then of course more at the $5 and up tiers. Obviously, one of the tiers lets you sponsor a show, like a series of reviews, much as Tim Neal does on this, Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d. So go have a look at Patreon. You can support us in other ways though by liking, subscribing. If you're listening to the audio podcast version, rating us on the podcast app that you use, giving us 5 stars and a review, all that kind of thing. All of it helps and spreads the show to more people. Otherwise, get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates, and that is about it. As for promoting other content that we have a comic book podcast called Comics from the Multiverse that we do every week. Focused on DC comics, admittedly, nothing to do with Marvel. But worth checking out if you're into that kind of thing. Myself, Connor, and Matt are on that show. And then check out about some of the other stuff we do. TV show wise right now, obviously we're just towards the end of season 3 of Stranger Things in terms of those reviews. So you can check out those, might be appealing to you if you're a fan of S.h.i.e.l.D. So there you go. But otherwise that's us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?